down there. 'Cause I only
Okay,
traveled
good
for a
evening, everyone. It is April 1st, 2024 at 6 p.m. It's time to call the city council meeting to order. Ms. Jones, roll call, please.
Mr. Austin,
Present.
Mr. Shuck,
present.
Ms. McGinnis,
Here.
Ms. Nally,
Here.
Ms. Price,
Here.
Mr. Prine,
Here.
and Mr. Jacobs.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Brian Reese, prayer and pledge.
All right, invite you to join me tonight. Our Father, we come before you this evening and we thank you for another opportunity to be here. And I just want to thank you so much for those who are our elected officials and first responders, all the businesses and churches and families and individuals that make this city as great as it is. I pray for this weekend as so many people come in. I pray for safety. I pray that you'd be with our first responders as they deal with all the crowds. I pray for good behavior and wisdom for the people who are here. And I pray for your financial blessings on all our businesses. They could use it this weekend. Just pray that you'd help them to be profitable this weekend. I move this meeting tonight and all the items on the agenda. I pray you give wisdom to the council as they consider these things, even if it's just moving money around. Pray for wisdom for that. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I invite you to stand with me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, is there any announcements or public comment that does not pertain to the agenda? I have one. I want to just let the city council know that you've heard us talk about our cable pollution and how we're trying to work on that and fix that, and how that we have companies that bore through sewer lines. Well, we did have one that there was an accident by a utility company that bored through a sewer line many years ago at Franklin College, and it just showed up. And it was Brightspeed who bought the company that actually did the work, and they paid us $12,815.90. And like I said, this damage happened several years ago. So I just wanted you to know it is helping to do what we're trying to accomplish here. So thank you. Anybody else have anything? Okay, hearing nothing, we will go on to consent agenda.
Move to approve the meeting minutes for March 18th for city council meetings.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move to read old business by title only.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll go into item number 1, approval of budgetary ordinance 24-06, additional appropriation for the police vehicle payment. Street Commissioner, Fleet Manager, Brett Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sure you did a fantastic job of explaining this in my absence last meeting, but for just a quick reminder, basically the long and the short is in 2022, we had an officer involved in an incident. Vehicle was totaled. It was decided to, in lieu of asking this body for additional money, we just added an additional vehicle to our 2023 vehicle replacement program, at which time we knew we would likely need some additional funding from the insurance proceedings to be able to fulfill that. The unfortunate part is, I guess, is that we crashed a vehicle in 22, got a new one in 23, but really just kind of put it on the road in 2024. So in the process of all that, we collected our insurance funds in 22. They were appropriated for 2023, but obviously the work was not completed until 2024. So for 2 years now, those funds have basically gone back into the general fund. And so I'm just asking that some of those insurance proceedings be reappropriated for lieu of not holding a vendor hostage to all these processes of 2 meetings and all this. We went ahead and paid the balance that was owed to the vendor. And so we're just basically refunding the police 400 capital series.
Hey, Brett, can I add to that? Just
Yeah.
today, just so people know, you learn something new every day. When you say it goes back into the general fund, it goes into the general fund of the MVH, not the general fund that has to be.
Not for this one. No, this is police. So
This
this goes into the actual general
Okay.
fund.
Okay, it's
and
the other one that.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I'm still learning.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
In the incident that totaled the vehicle was not our officer's fault.
Correct.
Okay.
It was not.
It's the unfortunate circumstance of Dodge Ram versus trash truck, if you guys remember that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And as you all know, maybe perhaps in your personal life, sometimes you can, if you damage an older vehicle, what you get in the fair market value of the vehicle does not pay as much as getting a new vehicle. So those insurance funds have been paid, received, and then just moved.
Right.
So we need to move them back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I didn't confuse you all there. that's-
All good.
Okay, so what this is for, open up for public hearing. Is there any more questions for the public hearing? We will close the public hearing. We're ready for action.
Move to approve budgetary ordinance 24-06.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, we go into new business.
Move to read new business by title only.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item number one, introduction of budgetary ordinance 24-07 to transfer from the MVH fund to the MVH 400 in the amount of $123,631.08. Street Commissioner, Fleet Manager Brett Jones. This is the one.
This is the one, yes, indeed. Similar circumstance, unfortunately, just shy of about a year ago. Our building was damaged during the tornado and thunderstorm event that passed through primarily Whiteland, but obviously north end of Franklin took some damage. Our building was damaged. We are under contract, processes in place to finally get all of those repairs made. But in the process of moving the police department money, we also realized that our insurance proceeds for the repair of the building were obviously captured in 2023, not reappropriated in 2024. So in lieu of waiting until our vendors want paid, I thought it might make sense to go ahead and get this process started to move those dollars out of our MVH general fund where they were returned to at the end of '23 and just and appropriate them for our 400 series so that when bills and things are due for this project, we can pay them without having to go through the two meetings and hold our vendors at bay for payment. So,
Mayor, is this something we can move on tonight?
No, it's
This-
introduction on
Yeah,
this
this
one.
one's introduction.
Yep.
Thought so,
Because
but
it's
I'd ask.
it's a new appropriation, same money
Yep.
as pointed out by our man of God here.
Yes.
But we are moving it around, but we do have to reappropriate it.
Yep.
Okay, so that one's been introduced. Okay, item number two.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Approval of budgetary resolution 24-02, transferring from MVH restricted to local road and bridge fund for community crossings matching grant. What that one is we have a matching grant for the community crossings, just what it says, and I think it's right at 200. Mark, you remember the number?
It's about $240,000.
Okay, it's about $240,000 that we need to transfer in for the community crossings grant out of the MVH restricted, which that is only used for roads only, is what the MVH restricted fund is for. The amount in that balance right now is about $1,345,000, and we get an annual revenue of $569,872 a year to go back into this fund. So this is the fund that I told you earlier in the year that we wondered why we had a balance of zero in 2017. This fund come together, I think, in 2018. So that's where the funds come from, and it's to be used for this kind of stuff. So,
But the requested resolution amount is $258,120.90,
okay, 258,
$120.94.
okay. So this one can be approved tonight.
Yes, sir.
Move to approve budgetary ordinance 24-02.
Second.
I believe it's budgetary resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry,
All right,
resolution.
there's just a legal distinction.
So we have a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item number three, which has a little bit to do with that one, and Jan will explain that. Introduction of budgetary ordinance 24-08, appropriation of the state and city funds for community crossings grant. Clerk Treasurer Jan Jones.
So we reached out to the State Board of Accounts from what was done last year. And last year, I think ended up taking like 4 meetings. And so we were able to condense this now and make sure that all permission to spend the money, because we'll have all the city and the grant money in there together. So we'll pay all of that, the remaining from that lump sum, or from that account, I guess. So just requesting
But-
that additional.
But this amount has not previously been appropriated,
No,
so we have to have 2 meetings to do that.
right.
Yes,
Right.
this
So
one's in,
today is just introducing.
right.
Okay. And the idea, just for members of the public, when you are appropriating new money for something new, you do it in 2 readings unless there's an emergency where you can waive the requirements. The idea is that it's published, the public can ask questions about it if they want to, and then come back on the second reading and get it approved. So that's the difference between an appropriation for an ordinance versus a resolution where you're simply moving things that have already been appropriated.
Okay, so this one has been introduced. We'll go on to the next one. Item number 4 is introduction to budgetary ordinance 24-09, appropriation of K-9 donation funds, 200 series in the amount of $5,500, and the 300 series in the amount of $5,000. Police Chief Kirby Cochran.
Thank you, Mayor. This one obviously is an introduction only. This is just to appropriate donated K-9 funds so that we can pay for K-9 upcoming. These were funds that were donated from the public.
Okay, so any questions for Kirby? It's introduction only.
I didn't know we had a 200 series for the K-9 and a 300 series for the K-9.
Yeah, it's split up that way for whatever reason.
Wonder why? Okay.
Don't know.
You know, usually we do it for personnel, but
Yeah.
I guess technically they are personnel. Okay, thank you.
Kirby, you got an idea what you receive yearly on contributions for your department? Just a guesstimate?
I think last year, Chief, last year it was right at $50,000 total
it's a big
for
number.
several different things that
That's nice.
the department went out and tried to help get some donations on stuff. And I know the fire department, I think, was right about 25,000 last year in what they were trying to get. So I think our people do a good job
Oh,
of trying
absolutely.
to get every dime they
Yeah,
can.
I was
so.
just curious, total.
Yeah, I'd say the
Estimate.
last 3 dogs that we've purchased at 20,000 each, we haven't spent any tax dollars on those.
Noticed that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Chief.
thank you.
Okay, introduction only. Thank you, Curb. Next one. Request approval and execution of amendment number 1 to the City of Franklin NDOT interlocal agreement for US 31 corridor project. City Engineer Mark Richards.
Thank you, Mayor. 4 years ago, the city and NDOT entered into an interlocal agreement for the US 31 project. It assigned all the costs that were estimated at the time for the project. At that time, the all-in cost was estimated to be $48,481,874. The most recent cost estimate has increased that amount to $62,076,395. A lot of this cost increase can be attributed to COVID because of all the increase in labor costs, material costs, difficulty in getting materials, things like that. The NDOT has sent to us an amendment, number 1, to this interlocal agreement that redefines the costs that are going to be attributed to both NDOT and the city. Back in October, we went through a value engineering exercise to determine what we might be able to eliminate from the project or otherwise reduce cost on certain phases. And we were able to, Mayor, if I recall correctly, reduce the cost by about $7.5 million. NDOT wanted to try and reduce the overall cost by about 15 million. The 7.5 million was our costs that would be attributed to those things that the city really wanted, such as pedestrian facilities and lighting on the project. Exhibit A1 to this document lists all the costs that are the latest estimates that get us to that 62 million, a little over $62 million cost estimate. Originally, the city was had agreed to pay $3.2 million for design, and that was going to be our total cost. Well, with the increases in cost, NDOT is asking the city to also contribute about $1.2 million in construction costs to help cover the cost of those pedestrian facilities and the lighting that we would like to have. City agreed to that. The mayor said that that will be paid from edit funds. The letting on the project is scheduled for December of this year, so the invoice for our city match would come in probably in early January. One thing that when the amendment was first drafted, NDOT had also assessed an additional $326,000 in design costs to the city. We objected to that because of the type of design changes that NDOT was requesting. It was items that NDOT specifically requested without consultation with the city. There were also some costs associated with breaking the project down into, they're called DES numbers. It's just overall project buckets that the funds come from. Crossroad was asked to go in and assign specific cost estimates to each one of those DES numbers, and there were like 6 or 7 of them. So they had to break out an overall lump sum, go through all the line items in the project cost estimate, and then break those out by the various DES numbers. Well, that's a pretty big task. So the $326,000 additional design fees that NDOT had asked the city to pay, we objected to that. They came back and said, yes, we see your point, we agree with you, we will take on those costs. So the $1.196 million and $500 that NDOT had asked the city to pay in addition to our design contribution last October, that has stayed the same. There is also a placeholder in here for change orders at 5%. NDOT feels fairly comfortable with that number. If something crazy happens and costs go way up, we have some protections in place because NDOT would like the city to participate, either all or in part, on some of those construction cost increases that could occur. If they do occur, we sit down and negotiate prior to them spending that money and making those, paying for those construction cost increases. So it's not a guarantee that we won't have additional costs, but it gives us the opportunity to go in and negotiate with NDOT and basically determine, okay, is there something that we can do further to lower costs and avoid those cost increases? So I kind of butchered that up a little bit, Lynn, but.
No, you didn't. I mean, the big thing is our design costs stayed exactly the same. That's where we pushed back, and kudos to Mark for working. We've had this for several months. We've been, and I don't want to imply that there was anything that it wasn't a good faith negotiation, but Mark pointed out that when we first signed on to the project, we signed on to participate in the design so we would have a seat at the table because NDOT was going to do the project, and this allows us then to add the things that we felt were important for the community. And some of the things that increased the design costs that we originally agreed to were not things we requested. So they eliminated that 330. So that stayed the same. The other point is that, I mean, the project, I did some rough math, is increased by $13,594,521 at this point, of which 1.2 is our increase. So proportionally, it's they're eating the same thing that we're running into. They are, quite frankly, I think one of the questions I had is this project going to happen because of the cost? And they are definitely going to do this project. They definitely want to go forward with it.
And our overall cost on the project is, based on the estimates, is about right at 7%. So
Correct.
That's a very good value.
For what we're getting. Right. It's a lot of money.
And the main thing when this started was about, okay, if you're gonna do this project and we're gonna be here with it, this is the good time to do our trails and sidewalks. We've been trying to do that for many years, and that's why we agreed to pay for the engineering part of it, which the trails alone is probably, not even counting engineering, I think, Mark, we figured $5 to $6 million if we had to try to just do the trails on our own, and that's not engineering it and trying to get the property and all that. So it's worth it to us to move forward with what we've been trying to do for years. So that's my opinion.
Yeah,
So-
and one other thing I would just point out from the legal standpoint, that's why section 1.5.1 has the provision in there that allows for the change orders for preliminary engineering, provided the city approves and agrees to the change orders in writing. So they do still have to come to us for additional things. Otherwise, they go ahead and do the project as they wish to do, which we may or may not like.
And this is a document that was signed originally by the Board of Works, the City Council, and the Redevelopment Commission. So all three of those bodies will also have to sign this amendment. Board of Works signed it at their meeting this evening. And this is on the RDC agenda for April 16th. So
The RDC, and I think you mentioned this, they paid the original $3.2 million.
that's correct.
Yeah, and we're looking to get the rest of it from the edit funds. That's all I got. And it can be, tonight, we can take action tonight, it's not introduction.
Correct. Correct.
Does anyone got any questions? With that said, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mark. Thank you, council. Okay, moving on, there isn't any other business, so we'll just do council comments. I know Josh has got a lot to say, probably.
Didn't come from RDC.
Well, I know that the city has done everything they can to get ready for this weekend, and I hope it turns out great.
Chip said the weather's supposed to be in our favor.
It is.
Good.
Cold. Cold,
Yeah.
but a sun to be eclipsed, hopefully.
Thank you, Josh. Ann?
I just wish all the employees the best of luck this weekend. And thank you.
If you're getting out of town, go now.
Yeah, yeah.
Ken?
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
The only thing I have tonight is to thank Brett Jones and Mark Richards. I brought a project to their attention on raising the crosswalk light system in front of Shell Creek because I've had numerous people tell me that it's too low and the traffic couldn't see the light. And so it's been lifted. And hopefully that will reduce the amount of people calling me to tell me about that. And that's the second project I've brought to the street department's attention. It's been taken care of right away. So, thank you.
Thank you. Sean?
Sounds
I
like
did- I did that on purpose.
Sounds like
Sean.
your friends drink too much, is that a problem? No one, they're not
Yes,
calling me.
there might be a problem there.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Okay. Irene?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Jennifer?
I'll just reiterate what Josh and Ann said, so thanks for all the police and fire that are going to be overworked probably this weekend.
We hope not, but yeah.
I hope not, but yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, hello, I'm Benjamin Warland, and I'm here with Addie Jeffrey and Taylor McHenry, and we are here representing the Harris Youth Leadership Council. I just wanted to say that we're very excited for the eclipse. We plan to be selling some water this weekend to help with that, so excited for that. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
Tara, do you have anything? Lynn?
I'm thinking that with the total eclipse of the sun, Purdue may actually get a banner. It might take something like that for it to happen, but good luck to you. Good luck to you.
Dan?
I see you.
I have nothing to
I'm so used to passing this way.
I have nothing to add except for our city employees have worked really hard on this, and I'm looking forward to, I think everybody's just going to take a big, deep breath on probably about the 10th. It's probably after cleanup and all that, so. Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.